Was good, y'all? Red Sosa back in a building with another banger. Now, first things first, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. Now, as y'all can see from the looks of the title and the screen, today I'm going to be bringing y'all the first ever 3ND wing catfish build on NBA 2K23 Next Gen. Now with this build, you're going to be able to use the exact measurements and attributes when it comes down to both next and current gen. So look, before we get any further into today's video, if it's your first time coming through, be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, turn on post notifications to catch the daily uploads, and be sure to go ahead and smash that like button. Now I would appreciate it if everybody went ahead and commented down TG for thank God, as well as where you're tuning in from watching today. But now, as you can see, let's go ahead and get into the making of this build. We're going to make it under the small forward position. When it comes down to the jersey number, go with number 1 because this is the number 1 catfish 3ND wing. Now, you can only make this build out of the small forward position, but when it comes down to the actual breakdown of the body settings, go with the height of 6'9". Then when it comes down to the weight, I'm going to go with 187, and then for the wingspan, now I'm going with 6'10", because I want to be sure that I'm able to hit that 92 3-pointer threshold. But from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the physicals. Now, the main thing that I wanted to be sure about this build was that I was going to be versatile on both ends of the floor. So for the speed, I'm going to go with the 78. When it comes down to my acceleration, I'm going to go with the 81. And then when it comes down to my vertical, we're going to be able to get pro contact dunks, so go with the 75. Then when it comes down to the stamina, I'm going to go with the 90. Now, if you want to change any of these numbers, you definitely can do so. I'm skipping over the strength for now, but this is going to be raised once we go ahead and get into the defensive end. So let me just go ahead and show y'all really quick with the finishing. I'm going to go with an 84 when it comes down to my driving dunk. Then when it comes down to the driving layup, go with the 70. And then for badge purposes on the close shot, go with the 67. And this right here is going to bring us up to a total of 11 badges. Now, as you can see, out of tier 1, we get gold pro touch as well as giant slayer. The main one that I'm looking at is going to be silver slithery. And now when it comes down to tier 2, we get limitless takeoff on silver and aerial wizard on gold. Now I like fearless finisher on bronze, and then along the way, if you do add extra badges towards this build, we're going to be able to put on posterizer on bronze, and that's going to be a huge W. Now from here, let's go ahead and get into the shooting. This is honestly going to be one of the strongest areas of this build. So for the mid-range shot, I'm going to go with the 77. 3-pointer, remember, I said I'm going to go with the 92. And that right there allows us to get gold limitless range. Now for tier 3, we also get Deadeye, blinders, and catch and shoot. But then for tier 2, we also get gold agent 3, Hall of Fame green machine, guard up, and then corner specialist. Now when it comes down to tier 1, the only reason why mini magician isn't on Hall of Fame is because I decided to go with a lower 3-pointer rather than going with an 81. But if you do decide to upgrade this area, you'll be able to get every single tier 1 badge on Hall of Fame. Now I like amped. Another one that I'm looking at is space creator and volume shooter. Now from here, I like the badge setup, but I'm going to leave it at 23 badges for the shooting. Now when it comes down to the playmaking, I'm going to go with the pass accuracy of an 85. That's going to give us a good amount of badges right there. And then when it comes down to my ball handle, I'm going to go with an 86, but if you want to max it out at an 87, that's pretty optional as well. Now when it comes down to my speed with ball, I'm going to raise this to a 76, and that right there is going to give us everything that we need out of this build. So you can pretty much change these two when it comes down to the speed with ball and ball handle. If you'd rather go with the 75 speed with ball and an 87 ball handle, you can definitely do that. Now once we get into the defensive end for the interior, I'm going to go with an 84. As for when it comes down to the defensive, I'm going to make sure that this is going to be the strongest area of this build. Now for the perimeter defense, I'm going to go with an 88. My steal, going to be a 78, and then when it comes down to my block, I'm going to raise this to a 75. Now as far as when it comes down to the rebounding, my defensive, I'm going to bring it up to a 67. Now look, you need to make one minor adjustment. So as you can see right here, take one off the acceleration, put the rest into the defensive rebound, and that right there is going to allow you to get box out beast on silver. Now we have a few extra remaining badge points, so if you try to go ahead and make your own adjustments, do it after we create the build together. But if you want to, you can go ahead and put the rest into your free throw. This is going to get brought up to a 75, and this is what the badge setup is going to be looking like. We get 11 when it comes down to the finishing, 23 with the shooting, then we get another 23 on the playmaking, with 20 when it comes down to the defensive. Now right here, we also do get Hall of Fame ankle braces out of tier 1. Like I said, silver box out beast and then bronze glove. I'm telling you, the defensive end is definitely one of the strongest, but we're still able to get some of the pro dribble moves. And then when it comes down to the finishing, we get the contact dunks like we wanted. Now from here, let's go ahead and check out the takeovers. We get the shot creating, then we get the sharpshooting, playmaking, and then to wrap it up, we get the lockdown. So take this into consideration. If you do go with the first takeover being an offensive, that's going to be much easier to get the lockdown second. So first, I'm going to go with limitless range for my takeover. Now, if you want to, you can go with ankle breaking shots for the first takeover, just to get better animations when it comes down to dribbling. And then for the second one, if you want to get the most out of your playmaking, pick one of these. I would go with team ratings boost, but again, the defensive end is going to be much better overall with the lockdown. So I'm going to go with extreme clamps, and let's go ahead and make sure that we made the build correctly together. And I'm telling y'all, if you made it exactly how I brought it, you're going to get comparisons of Paul George, OG Anunoby, as well as Jason Tatum. And as y'all can see together, we have created the Catfish 3 and D wing build. Now, if you mess with this making, be sure to go ahead and let me know in the comments, but I would appreciate it if everybody went ahead and dropped a like as well. Now, really quick, once we get this build to 99 overall, I'm telling you, you need to take into consideration your takeovers. So just off rip with the shot creating takeover, we're going to be able to get an 87 mid-range when it's activated. Now for the free throw, this takes a huge factor, especially when it comes down to picking the sharpshooting takeover. But then when it comes down to the playmaking, you do have the potential of a 100 plus pass accuracy and ball handle if you go with the playmaking. Now with the defensive, the perimeter defense is definitely going to be a 99 plus. And then when it comes down to the rest of the making of this archetype, I think this is one of the better, well-rounded builds in my opinion. Now the physicals are looking solid as well. The speed will be above an 80 with Gym Rat. Then when it comes down to the acceleration, this is going to be an 84. Now from here, let's go ahead and get into the breakdown of the badges. Now for tier 1, we get a good amount of badges to pick from. For me, I'm going to go with first, Gold Pro Touch as well as Silver Slithery. Now if you wanted to, you can go with Silver Pro Touch just to change the setup. Now for tier 2, go ahead and put on Limitless Takeoff. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and core on Aerial Wizard on Gold. Now this is going to leave us room to go ahead and put on Bronze Fearless Finisher. Now down the road, if you do add extra badges towards this build, we'll be able to get Posterizer on Bronze, and then down the road you can even put this as your core badge. Now pretty much you'll be able to keep everything else the same as is. But now let's go ahead and get into the shooting. So this is also another main area of this build. The main badge that I'm going to go with out of tier 1 is going to be Amped on Hall of Fame. Now from there, I also do like to go with Hall of Fame Volume Shooter. Now this next one is based off preference. I'm going to go with Space Creator on Hall of Fame. I'm going to leave off MIDI Magician, but most of the time on other builds I would put this badge on. Now for tier 2, I'm going to go with Gold Agent 3. You cannot forget about putting on Hall of Fame Green Machine. And then when it comes down to my tier 3 badge, I'm going to go with Gold Core Limitless Range. Now if you want to make any changes, you can definitely do so, but I feel like this is going to be the best way that you can go about it. Now from here, let's go ahead and get into the playmaking. We have a total of 23 badges. So to start out on tier 1, I'm going to go with Gold Hyperdrive, and then for tier 2, Gold Quick First Step. Now if you want to open up tier 3, go with Silver Ankle Breaker, and then right here, I'm going to go with Silver Handles for Days, Silver Killer Combos, and then you can also go ahead and change this up if you wanted to. You can go with 3 different silver badges, or you can even go ahead and core Gold Unpluckable. Now we have one more remaining badge, so if you wanted to, I would go something like this. Run Hall of Fame Ankle Breaker, Silver Hyperdrive, and then we still maintain everything else that we needed. The reason why I say that is because Ankle Breaker is definitely back. The animations that we get out of this badge are super overpowered, and I'm just giving y'all a quick hint at that right now. Really good that we have it at a tier 1 badge, but from here, let's go ahead and get into the defensive end. Now starting out on tier 1, I'm going to go with Hall of Fame Menace. Another one that I like, of course, is going to be Glove on Bronze. Now from there, I'm going to go with Silver Box Out Beast, and then for tier 2, you got to make sure that you're going with Gold Challenger. Chase Down Artist, I'm going to go with Silver. And then when it comes to Clamps, I'm going to go with Silver here as well. Now for my tier 3 badge, I'm going to go ahead and put on Bronze, Core Anchor. And this is pretty much what the setup of this build is going to be looking like. Now if you want to make any changes, any adjustments, do so based off your own playstyle. This is definitely going to be one of the best defensive Catfish builds that you can use all year. So if you mess with this build, be sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. What do you think? Which changes would you make and why? But again, I just want to say thank you so much for your support. Thank you, God, for another day and another opportunity. And with all that being said, man, y'all already know what y'all need to do. Be sure to hit that sub button if you're new, and turn on post notifications if you want to be a part of the Rich family. But I would appreciate it if everybody went ahead and smashed that like button and commented down TG for thank God as well as where you are tuning in from today. But again, with all that being said, man, I got one last thing to say. Rich out.